it's like one blink for one, two blinks for two, three blinks for three. But he has no eyelids, so he's just like he's like Morse coding with his eyes, and he's like, bitch can't read. She also doesn't know Morse code. Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Allie. And this week we're jumping into chapter 40. So chapter 40 is the second task. And we've got lots of looks. And lots of looking. We've got the task itself, obviously, lots of tension, lots of, regret and panic. And some interesting, I keep calling things iconic, but like it's just one of those scenes that I feel like is super iconic. Some interesting interactions between Rhys and Feyre, and our boy helping our girl out. Lucien not dying, that's sick, and then the face down, the not falling apart that it happens at the end there, where she doesn't give Amarantha the satisfaction according to Rhys's plan. So yeah, I feel like it's just a very mental chapter, a lot of just in the head, or well, two people in one head type of, but still it's a lot of inward stuff.
I love the Lucien doesn't die, that's sick.
Oh, we love a not dead Lucien. We do.
For now, we love a not dead Lucien. Who knows?
No. He could piss us off. No, we'll always love it.
No, I would be mad. Even if he's bad, I'd be mad.
Okay, so
I just made my first note.
My first note is ACOTAR creepy. That's it.
So I was scribbling really quick because I just saw this. So she's unnerved, right? The ACOTAR is creepy. He's standing on one side of Amarantha. Amarantha's in her throne. Tamlin's on the other, being fucking Tammy. So it says, right, the ACOTAR only smiled to unnerve me. It was working. Not even gazing at Tamlin could calm me. I clenched my hands at my side as Amarantha smiled. Well, Feyre, your second trial has come. She sounded so smug, so certain that my death hovered nearby. And my question is she smug because she thinks that her riddle is clever as fuck? Or is she smug because she knows Feyre can't read?
I think both, although later there's something Feyre thinks that makes me question. Anyway.
Well, and so there's only confirmed Tamlin knows that she can't read. Well, he said she can't write. But confirmed, she's never told Lucien that we've seen on a page. That doesn't mean that Tamlin hasn't told his little buddy. So in the scheme of things, the only people who could have told her is Tamlin or Lucien, because even Rhys is like, that was surprising. That who would have thought you couldn't read? So Rhys didn't say anything. And so my question is, if she knows she can't read, how does she know? The only way she can know is Tamlin or Lucien. And then I'm wondering, what the fuck is happening with Tamlin and Lucien and Amarantha? What are these meetings? What are these moments? What is this like, because they're talking, right? Like Tamlin pleads for Lucien at some point, and then he has to whip him, and she's constantly next to Tamlin unless she's with Rhys. And so like there's a lot. She's there for 3 months, right? So there's 3 months worth of time for there to have been a conversation, at least 2 months between the first trial and this one, for Tamlin to have slipped that she can't read.
Yeah, I can't see Tamlin just saying that,
or she's just smug because she thinks that she's a clever ass bitch, and that she's like, I already gave her one riddle that she can't figure out, and it's so simple. She's not going to figure out this one either.
I just feel like she's just always smug because I feel like that's how she tries to be intimidating, maybe. That's kind of the vibe I get. But I was thinking in this chapter, because of what Feyre says later about it, like, did she know? Did she not know? If she knows, then I feel like, yeah, Tamlin would have had to say because he's basically the only person who knows. But maybe she had some kind of daematied trick that she got it out of his head and he didn't mean to say, or I don't know. I can't imagine.
Yeah, because Feyre does say like she would have, because Amarantha in on 363 says something wrong. She raised an eyebrow. I snapped my attention to the inscription, keeping my breath as steady as I could. She hadn't mentioned reading as an issue. She would have mocked me more if she'd known about my illiteracy. So like,
Fate, a cruel twist of fate. She blames fate for it, which I thought was
fun.
very interesting.
Because this is the
Um,
perfect moment for Rhys to earn her full trust.
yes, and this is, yeah, we'll get there, but
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know because I have thoughts about that fate line. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if she knows for real or not.
Yeah,
But maybe, yeah, maybe she just thinks she's dumb. Maybe she just thinks all humans are dumb, and so she's like,
it's
maybe
fair.
the riddle is a Fae riddle or something. Like
Yeah.
it's only a Fae could get it, and that's why she thinks it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because we actually don't know. We just know that there's some grasshoppers bouncing.
It's like American IQ tests that are biased towards WASP culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
well, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that for sure. But in yeah.
I'm kind of mad that we don't get the inscription later. I'm like really mad that like
No,
chapter 54 wasn't like she wasn't like, what do you remember what the riddle was? Like what was it? Like ask him or ask
I
somebody
know.
and then her be
Do you think
like,
he's
God,
gonna
that was
come
so
back in the end? And at the end, he's gonna be like, they're gonna be like trying to solve something, and he's gonna go, grasshopper, grasshopper, Feyre, the answer was right there all along. Number three. And then just kidding. I will fucking die if something like that happens. I hate that shit, and it's so cheesy, but reason that's what my brain fed to me. So
that's the like code breaker for one of the magic books or
yeah,
something. It's grasshopper. Like
he's
this
like
ancient Fane language in the sacred tongue, but it's in code. And she's like,
Nyx means grasshopper in the ancient tongue. It's the
it
clues all
doesn't,
along.
but I love that. Yeah.
Um, but um, also I like how Jurian just like is like the fuck. It's like he's trying to tell her something, which he probably is. He probably like
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
He's like one blink for one, two blinks for two, three blinks for three.
He's just
But he
constantly
has no
blinking
eyelids,
five
so he's just
times.
like he's like Morse coding with his eyes, and he's like, "Bitch can't read." She also doesn't know Morse code.
Surely he would have. He would have like come. Yep. Actually, he probably somebody. You think Amarantha's like dilate once for yes, you're gonna tell me like, but maybe she doesn't want to talk to him. But I'm like,
No, she just wants to.
surely he has a
Yeah,
way of communicating with somebody.
yeah, right. He's like left, left, right, up, down. It's like a PlayStation, like codes for like cheat codes. It's just like
Wait. Do you
up,
think
up,
Rhys
down,
can
down,
get
left, right,
head?
right. Huh?
Can Rhys talk to Jurian as an eyeball?
Oh, because
I
his
haven't even thought
consciousness is
of
in
this.
there. Yeah,
Right? Do you have to have a body to be daematied?
I think you just have to have consciousness.
Yeah. That's like a stupid ass rhyme. Do you have to have a
Could
body
you
to be
imagine?
daematied?
He's like doing his thing with Amarantha and having a full ass fucking conversation with Jurian at the same time. Just like, how's the ring? It's fine. How's under the mountain? It sucks. Remember that time that we killed people together in a war? Where's
Okay, that
Miriam?
actually like, why isn't Reese he must not be able to talk to him because surely he could be like, let's plot together, you and I, and let's
Yeah, but
bring
what's
her
an
down.
eye gonna
Tell me what she
do?
gets see is what she says when no one's around.
Oh, that's
He hears all
true.
her conversations.
That is
Well, how
true.
does he hear
Yes.
if he's just an eye?
I don't know. It's
He
magic.
clearly hears because he's like, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
the jury and loophole. I was kidding, but like seriously.
It's
If
like
I'm Reese,
the
that's my first thought is like, I gotta find a way to make that
mhm.
my end.
My only note for the whole next page is just what does that eye see, which is hilarious because we're already talking about one eye and what does Jurian see, but
A
what
bad
does that
idea.
fucking what does that eye do, Lucian? What's it do?
I thought it was insane that she, Oh, yeah, she's like, the ACOTAR was trying to scare me, it was working, not even gazing at Tamlin could calm me, and I was like, "That's because he's not your mate." But then
Uh-huh,
I just thought
uh-huh.
it was funny that, hard on my oh, it's on the next page.
Have you ever seen those they're like Halloween eye toys. It's a
Mhm.
ball, and then there's, like, an eye inside of it, and there's, like, a liquid in it, so, like, you can shake the eye and it, like, spins around. Have
Kind
you ever
of,
seen these
yeah.
things? It's kinda like an 8 ball, but, like,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
whole eye. Okay.
Mhm.
It's all I'm imagining for, like, Lucien. He just, like, turns his head, and his eye is, like, not actually seeing anything, but it just wiggles. And so he's just like, "Oh!" And the eye keeps moving because it's suspended in some sort of goop.
It's, like, stuck like that.
Yeah. And then she's like it's like bobblehead level, so, like, every time he turns, it's just like, "Ding, ding, 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 ding." So it's not actually seeing anything, she's just like, "It's spinning around like crazy," and he's like, "Would you stop paying attention to my eye, please, okay? I can't help it."
Man. God, it just sounds like that's ready to be a
Sorry.
funny moment in a sex scene
I'm a
with
little
Lucien.
unhinged. I'm just a little unhinged.
Okay, the thing I was looking for, I was, like, looking on the wrong page, but, she goes Tamlin's like, he's straight-faced, and she's like, "How about a little practice?" Amarantha said, and I forced my face into neutrality. If Tamlin was playing indifferent to keep us both safe, so would I. And I just thought there's things so, like, lame and cheesy about that, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're gonna be neutral like Tamlin? You're just like you're gonna
Mhm.
show him?" I don't know. It just there's
Yeah.
thing that just sounds delusional, even though, like, I get it. Like, you gotta tell you're in a scary situation, you're probably giving yourself hope. There's just it just, like maybe it just is, like, a lame like, it just there's something that irked me about it,
It
or just
also
made me
feels
be
a
like,
little like it feels a little like
childish or something.
yeah, it feels a little high school where she's like, "Fine, if you're gonna act like you don't care, then I'll act like I don't care." And you're like,
Yeah, well, and she,
"Okay."
like it seems like very like, "It's just my thing, I'm gonna do it too," like, it's like a
Yeah.
big thing. I don't know, in it
Well, and it feels
and
more aimed at Tamlin than it feels like it's aimed at Amarantha, where she's like, "Fine, if you're not gonna look at me, I won't look at you either." And
oh,
you're
I
like,
didn't read it like that. I read it as, like, the deep love that we have. I'm
"Ah,
into it too, like, and I
gross."
think it was just a little overdramatic. Even though,
Mhm.
like, I get it, if you're this lady is wants to kill you, so I guess.
Mhm.
But then I also thought it was funny how she was like, "If I could just hold him, feel his skin for a moment, smell him, hear him say my name." I don't know. I also thought it was interesting that she's talking about okay, this stare down.
Mhm.
I found yeah, she stares at him and then, oh, yeah, she's, like, thinking about him and staring at him, and then, Amarantha was frowning at Tamlin because she said I hadn't realized we've been staring at each other, the whole cavern silent, and, then she starts sinking down and she says, like, "I found Tamlin's stare again and held it until I was lowered so far down that his face disappeared beyond the edge." Okay, usually in a romance, this kind of eye contact there's, like, other now this is could be just a writing problem, or it could be like this is a tell that Tamlin ain't the one problem, like, intentional thing, but isn't it weird that she's talking about how she stares at him, but not talking about what she thinks that he's thinking, or what she thinks, or how she has a little moment where she's like, "I wish I wanna feel his skin, blah, blah, blah," but
Mhm.
she just says, "I held his stare," like, is she
Mhm.
just this is a very emotional moment where she thinks she's gonna die, like,
Yeah, it's not like, "This could be the last time I see him," or, "I wondered if he was, like,
like, she doesn't describe his
missing."
stare, like,
Nope.
"Oh, he looked like he was trying to tell me this."
Nope.
Like, I did you think I
She
always
doesn't
thought it was
notice any
weird.
knuckles, she doesn't notice any claws, she got nothing. She's just like, "I'm looking at his
Just like,
face."
I'm staring and not feeling anything, or we're just not
Mhm.
gonna talk about any feelings, we're just staring to
Mhm.
stare. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, yeah, then that's all I had for that page, basically. Um,
I I'm starting to find it a little suspicious how often Amarantha uses Lucien against Feyre.
yes.
Because I mean, I get that, like, there's only 2 people in this world, whatever, that she knows, right? And because she doesn't have access to Alice, right? So it's like, okay, well, I'm already fucking with Tamlin, but and like maybe it's a way to like the Lucien Feyre thing, she's just like, well, it's two birds, one stone. Like, because if I torture Lucien, I also torture Tamlin. So like maybe that's
Mhm.
part of it.
Yeah.
But she relies a lot on Lucien and his discomfort during this time. And I'm
Yeah.
almost like, I feel like we forget about his suffering under the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cause
he was
like
yeah.
he's I feel like he might have it worse than Tamlin.
Oh, yeah, not worse than Feyre, but
Yeah, worse
definitely
than
worse than Tamlin.
Tamlin.
Unless Tamlin's being made to, like, have sex with her, I guess, but
But I don't
I
think that
don't
that's
think
what
he
he is
is.
because yeah, because Rhys says like she keeps inviting him into her bed and he won't go.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Lucien definitely is
And
second
like so
worst
like
after Feyre.
what's the I mean and I get like watching the person that you love or people that you love being tortured or whatever like
Sure.
that's rough. Being forced to be the one to whip your bestie, I get it. That sucks. But like you're not the one that's actually taking any of the pain. Like he's in perfect fucking health.
Yeah.
He's he's fine.
Yeah, and Lucien really is taking it all with the scars. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna have scars on his back from
And
that with
like
well, maybe Faye's skin
I'm
heals
just
better
wondering
too.
like is he getting up in the middle of the night and throwing up too? Because that could also be why he leaves with Feyre in book 3 that like
Yeah.
he's also fucked up because she heals, right?
Yeah.
She gets all fucking healed and whole in book 2. Lucien could still be dealing with his shit. He's got
Yeah.
nobody. And so it could be that moment where he's like, I've seen what he did to her. And like, yeah, the writing's on the wall for her coming back in like, revenge, fucking up spring court or whatever. But like,
Mhm.
he could be real over Tamlin too.
Maybe that's why he's, like, trying to go so hard after Feyre, because he's like, "I suffered for all this for this girl, and then she's not even this ain't even gonna work out." Like, maybe he's like,
Yeah.
you know yeah, that is
Well, and he's
interesting.
like, and like, I get like, if we're going to take Elaine as his mate, that's the other reason to go.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
also
and
like,
that's the reason he gives, but
but also he's kind of like, I mean, think about it. There's a bond that also happens in the first book and it happens definitely in the third book with her and Lucien, and she kind of uses Lucien a little bit against Tamlin, all the things, right? She like he bows to her when she's doing the priestess shit and
yeah, there's
she like
actually a lot of
runs
things.
into his arms and cries with him, right? To like make Tamlin jealous and all the things. But
Mhm.
I think that there's also a moment where, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a scene where Lucien is like, when they ask him, why did you leave? And he would be like, because she's the curse breaker, Tamlin, not you. Like, you didn't do this. You didn't free us. She did.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine that scene? And it just being like, because at the end of the day, Tamlin, you didn't fight for us, and she did.
Mhm.
And so,
She's much less capable.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do wonder if there's more to their connection or something, or yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
and
there's just
I'm wondering if like I feel like the only way for Tamlin to have a redemption arc is if he is killed. If like he sacrifices himself in some battle bullshit and is like kills one of the queen like kills the queen at the end and is
Mhm.
slayed in the process.
Yeah, I don't want to be like he's like Kale status at the end. Like, I feel like that's insane. That's a little insane.
Yeah, where he gets a fucking
Um,
happy ending? No.
yeah.
I would like some of this shit to come and like I would like to see a change with him. If he gets a redemption arc, it needs to be a full change. There needs to be
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
full on admitting to his faults, admitting he didn't do shit, and like stepping up and being a fucking high lord like he's
But
supposed to
also
be.
not too tidy. But yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It
he
needs
can't
to
get
be
an
both
Irene.
tidy and realistic. Sorry, not too tidy, realistic, but also full, but also yeah, that is it. Yeah. I also wonder if Lucian it feels like there's more between Lucian and Amarantha or something, like he personally pissed her off, or
Yeah.
she's somehow always finding a way. Well, my thought when I was reading this was, where is his mom and dad? And then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, the Baron sides with Hybern, but does that mean he sides with Amarantha? Is she in his good graces? Because she's like fucking up his son constantly, but he
Mhm.
also doesn't care about Lucian. But probably cares about him, if nothing else, as like a status, like that's my son, you're disrespecting me type shit, or just like,
I think he's disowned him and he wanted to kill him himself. So I think he's just like, well,
oh, he disowned him before all this.
yeah,
Okay.
cuz when he kills what's her face, he disowns
Does he
him.
just formally disowns him, or does he just let the brothers attempt to kill him, and he's like, whatever? and
I
before he
don't
like held them
remember.
back.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
But then I was like, okay, well, Lady of Autumn clearly. I was like, maybe she. Okay, I was wondering if Lucian was being punished for Lady of Autumn helping Pharaoh with her chore,
Mm-hmm.
because she could have found out and like,
Yeah.
but like I thought it was a little weird why they weren't there. Then I was like, okay, Baron seems like the kind who would ally with Amarantha, but also kind of not because he seems like someone who would not be down to have his virus taken. But maybe he'd
Yeah.
be a kiss up. But he's not an actor like Rhys. But he's like a douchebag, so maybe he'd be for her. But do you think? What do you think with Baron?
I think Baron is after his own interests at all times. And so I think that he is going to ally with anybody who seems to have the upper hand.
So you think he allied with Amarantha during this
Yes.
time? Okay.
Yes. But I don't think that he is a loyal, but
Yeah,
I
he'll
don't think
flip
he's
on
loyal.
her.
I don't think he's loyal to anybody but his own power at
Okay.
himself. And so if there was a better option, I'm sure he would have flipped.
Okay.
But we also
That's fair.
only know about Baron kind of like we have a few scenes with him, but we only know about Baron because of other people's point of view.
Yeah,
And same with
exactly.
Eris, right? Like we have this
We
whole
do
like
know that he like allied with Hybern. He does feel
yeah.
that way. Um,
Do they fight? Does he stay on Hybern's side
wait.
during the war?
Maybe okay, I was thinking the previous war, and now I'm like, maybe he didn't side with Hybern last time, and now it in the current version
Yeah.
Akawar, he did side with Hybern, or was going to side with Hybern. Did he
I
side
don't
with
think they
Hybern?
do because they have Eris on their side. I think that Eris talks him into siding with the High Lords.
But he was originally going to side with Hybern, maybe.
I do believe
But
so.
is that because he sided with Hybern before?
I don't know.
Because now I feel like Tamlin's dad definitely did,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like maybe Baron had like the reason that he was siding like in memory the reason he was siding with Hybern now was because he was like I sided with the humans last time and that a lot of good that did me. But anyway,
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I was thinking about did Lady of Autumn get caught for helping Feyre? Is is Baron just cool with this? But yeah, I guess Baron is probably just cool with this. But the Lady of Autumn is definitely not. But I was just why don't we see them and why is Feyre noticing it? But maybe it's nothing.
Says that Baron does not ultimately side with the King of Hybern. While he was initially difficult and hostile towards the alliance forming against Hybern, he joined the coalition of Prithian forces in the final battle
Okay.
because he's mad about Feyre having some of his powers.
Yep.
It says he was finally coerced into joining the resistance for the final battle, but only after being threatened by the Spring Court's High Lord Tamlin. I'll have to double check that.
That sounds familiar. I like how they used to call him the Spring Court's High Lord Tamlin.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder if Lucian is more important than we think he is because
Mm-hmm.
he gets his eye cut out, he gets whipped, he's running around and doing everything, helping Feyre, having these fucking meetings with Hybern maybe, and seems like he's maybe got his hand in a lot of fires. That's not the right
Yeah.
metaphor for that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I also was so when she says like where's his mother and his father, I just wrote good question because yeah, no, it's a good question to know what they're doing, where they're at. Whether they care. I mean, clearly she does, but
She does. Maybe she's like, Baron, you're gonna stay with me and we're not gonna watch our son get tortured. Or maybe they're being held hostage while their son's being like
yeah.
maybe they don't wanna yeah, my next note is now finally at the does Amarantha know part. Did you have something before that?
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering because she also calls her favorite darling.
Does
I
she?
wonder if yeah.
Oh oh
Mm-hmm.
oh. Okay, if okay, sorry. That kind of seems like a hit at Reese, unless
That
did people heard him call her Feyre darling, right?
I do believe so.
So either she's like just trying to tease her in a way that maybe she thinks that she's scared of Reese, and so calling her what Reese calls her will freak her out. It kind of seems more like a dig at Reese, but then I'm like, why give her such a Reese
Mm-hmm.
beneficial task? She knows she can mind read. So is this a test
Yeah,
for Reese?
maybe. Yeah, because I put mocking Reese question mark. Like that seemed that seemed directed at him.
Yeah. And it
It's
seems
that
like she's
Cold War. It's
suspicious.
that Cold War
Yeah.
between
Yeah, but, like, why would she give it such an easy task for him to help her with? That seems like a trap.
Yes. Yes.
That's weird. But, like, nothing ever comes of it really,
Nope.
right?
Nope. Yeah. Like, what, like, literally, what is stopping him? Like, he's been hanging out with her every night, right?
Mhm.
Like, they've been drinking, right?
Uh-huh.
And hanging out. And, like, maybe she, knows that Feyre is scared of him or whatever. Like, maybe she actually thinks that he's tormenting her. But, like, think about it. This is the girl who can break this curse. And the guy who is kind of your crony, but does not want to be there, is now quote unquote tormenting her. Yeah, this feels like a trap.
But,
But then she does nothing about it,
like,
right? Because
it's
this is
yeah.
such an easy, like, it just seems like ignorance or hubris for her to be like, I'm going to give you something that someone could just tell you the answer, especially if they could just speak into your brain. Nobody would know that you were given the answer. Because Rhys can talk into other people's brains, right? Like, he does it all the time with Cassian and Asriel, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not like it's a Bond thing specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe she thinks that he can't actually speak in the mind. That she's like, oh well, some of his power, like maybe he's hidden the extent of his powers, and he's like, well, I can read their mind and I can break their mind, but I can't actually talk to them. But that
Yeah.
seems weird because breaking
Yeah.
their mind seems like it would be a manipulation of their thoughts.
I don't
The,
know what the
I'm
fuck she thinks, like
I just want to think that it is very much like a Greek tragedy or whatever, and it's like, I mean, not the tragedy because she's a villain, but like that it falls in line with that Greek tragedy of just like hubris is what kills
does it, yeah.
all the time, is just having too much arrogance and feeling like you're going to be invincible.
Yeah, that fits, that's really interesting. I miss that favorite darling, that's crazy.
But it's crazy that, like, reading this book the first time, you're like, oh, this is the big baddie. This is terrifying. This is scary. She's so powerful, yada, yada. And then you read it second through and you're like, she's kind of a shit villain. Like,
Yeah,
she makes really rookie mistakes. No wonder she lost.
and I to be fair, the author does mention, like,
Hmm.
that in
Yeah.
the next chapter, or this chapter?
Yeah,
Next
it's the
chapter?
next one.
Whatever. So at least there's, like, some maybe it's like a little bit of, like, "Hey, I know that she looks stupid." It's like an acknowledgement in a weird way.
Yeah, it still is just,
Yeah.
yeah. It seems like
Yeah.
a rookie mistake.
So then we get lowered into the little ground thing, and she realizes that um there is, let's see, a lengthy inscription was carved into smooth surface, and beneath it were three stone levers with the numbers 1, 2, and 3 engraved in them. And then, the next page she says she sees the spikes and stuff, and then she thinks,
Hmm.
"Who told her I couldn't read?" Then Amarantha says, "Something wrong?" She raised an eyebrow. I snapped my attention to the inscription, keeping my breathing as steady as I could. She hadn't mentioned reading as an issue. She would have mocked me more if she'd known about my illiteracy. Fate, a cruel, vicious twist of fate. So because I feel like Farrah before says she doesn't believe in fate or the cauldron and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I thought that was interesting, but also I think it's interesting that she thinks that, okay, like, Tamlin could have betrayed her, but it's funny that she would then be like, "Oh, must be fate. Tamlin would never betray me." But I kind of don't
Hmm.
think that Tamlin would betray her because I don't think, she's his only hope
Yeah.
too. So we kind of come back to this question of, does Amarantha know? Or did she just guess? Did she just think humans are stupid? She won't be able to get this.
So it could be that. And we could be thinking about fate, right? That we know that Rhys is her mate. And
Yeah.
this one, he like directly helps her.
Yep.
And so it could be one of those moments where fate is like setting up a situation where they're going to, like, not only is there a bargain bond, but now there's a trust bond,
Mhm.
right? And so yeah, I mean, I could see it being like a fate thing, just like this was, it's twisted in the sense that the only person who can save me is my mate.
Mhm. Well, and then here's the other thing is that, like, okay, Reese is like, okay, most powerful High Lord, and I've just always gotten the impression that his end game, his, like, the end of his story is gonna be going against fate. There's just something about his character that just reeks of somebody who's going to do like a chosen one type of thing where he's not supposed to be able to do something and he makes it happen because he bends fate to his will or something like that, or he just figures
Mhm.
it out. Like he's always just given that vibe, especially because they talk about his power and how it's like so weird. They talk about his last name. It really just feels like there's something about this boy that's, he's going to do some shit, right? So
Yeah.
this kind of thing always reminds me of Rhys. But then, okay, sorry. In the next page, I think it's the next page. Um, yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead just to where she's talking about choosing things and the way she's reasoning with it. She
Mhm.
said, where did she say chance? Okay, so right in the middle of 64 is 1, 2, and 3. They meant nothing to me beyond life and death. Chance might save me, but and then she's like 2 like me and Tamlin. 1 is bad because Amarantha. Those are solitary beings. Three
Mhm.
sisters, which is funny because three sisters is the answer. Which
Yeah.
okay, but
Mhm.
also, um, right now she's like, yuck. And so she thinks 2. But I think it's
Mhm.
interesting that she thinks chance will save me and then has this weird, like, twisted logic. But it's actually in the trial, what it is Rhys intervening with that chance. She say chance will save me. Rhys intervenes and doesn't let that chance save her because it's actually going to lead her to hell. So to me, I was like, maybe this is like a symbolic thing, like in the end, final book type shit. Feyre, because I feel like that last book will be in her perspective or something, or it'll be have to do with her. And I feel like we'll see like a mirroring of this moment, or maybe even like I could see the last book being a mirroring of the three trials, because that's like kind of what started it all type of thing. I also noted that she, with her own skills, beats the first one. Rhys, with his own skills, beats the second one. Tamlin sacrifices himself to beat the third one. So it does make me wonder about a Tamlin redemption arc and the sacrificing thing, because, well, he doesn't actually die, but
Mhm.
he sort of figuratively he allows himself to be stabbed.
Mhm.
And I don't want to give Tamlin that much credit, but this is exactly the kind of thing that seems like it's going to get mirrored because it's in the first book, because it's where all this comes ahead. It's the first time we see Rhys and Feyre together, and there's this weird like all him, a person's sacrifice. Uh and I don't know. I was just kind of going wild with like, especially with the dimensions of fate, and Rhys
Mhm.
is intervening in fate, intervening in chance. He's turning things the way they shouldn't go.
Mhm.
Um and it upsets her so much that when it's almost like she knows what should have been. She already should be dead.
Yeah.
Um and she's only going to get more and more undead as we go. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I was just kind of going wild with like, how are we going to see this mirrored in the final books? But maybe not. But what? Yeah. Sorry. Any thoughts?
I mean, yes and no. I hadn't thought of that, so
Yeah.
it's
It's
something
kind
to
of like a
sit
weird
with.
crackpot theory.
It's not. I mean, from like a literary standpoint, right? From a writer standpoint, that's kind of what you do. You want your end of your series to mirror the beginning of the series.
Hmm.
Um,
Like fulfill it in a way.
yeah. I did find it very interesting that 3 is the answer. And
And
she's
she
like,
thinks 3 for the sisters. The sisters are the answer.
how many queens are there?
6?
Well, 5 because one of them has been killed, right?
Mm-hmm. I think 2. I think isn't there one that dies is sick? Oh no, there's the Vasa is trapped. And then
Mhm.
there's one that gets killed, and there's 4.
Mhm.
Or the Brialin gets killed as well, so there's 3 left.
Hmm.
Uh yeah. So 3 is the answer. The sisters are the answer, feels also symbolic. But
Mhm.
especially, yeah, it's funny. 2 essentially is kind of, she also ascribes that with fate too. 2, it was
Mhm.
2. I would gladly, willingly, fanatically believe in a cauldron and fate if they would take care of me. I believed in 2. 2. And then Grace is like, "Fuck no, you don't."
Yeah, because yeah, no,
She lines 2 up with what should have happened. Um,
yeah, I would gladly, willingly, fanatically believe in a cauldron and fate if they would take care of me. I
mhm.
believed in two, too.
Yeah. And also, it's interesting in terms of Reese, like, So in a traditional romance, like Tamlin is the happy ending, and we don't get any more of that. The book, it's just happily ever after.
Yeah.
But with a second book, Rhys technically interrupts that happily ever after. And
Mhm.
okay, if he's Valg and he's a world walker, maybe he should have never been in this world. Maybe he was never meant to be, and she was gonna meant to be with Tamlin, even though clearly they're fated, they're mates.
I don't like that.
But it
I
does, like,
depose.
the biggest theme in these books is home,
Mhm.
and a world walker is essentially homeless, and there's a lot of weird, interesting things there. And I do technically Rhys is a second happy ending or an interruption to the original happy ending, the way things should have been.
But I don't think
And
that that means that I don't think that Rhys is like are we saying like Valg like full on
no, I am
Valg?
never saying Rhys is evil Valg. I'm always saying Rhys is a Valg, but not a bad one. Like, he's descended from something
Sure.
that should have made
But
him
he's
bad, but he
but
is
he's
choosing to be
like
good.
sure, but he's
Choosing
like walked through a gate into this world, Valg?
No. No, but maybe one of his ancestors did. That's what I
Okay,
personally
okay. So
think.
but then
Yeah.
that's my thing too is that we see lots of half Valg. All of the witches are half Valg.
And they have big impacts. They go against fate. I don't know.
Sure. Well, they can feel fate.
Yeah.
Do you know that
Well, Rhys
Manon
has
can
always given me
feel?
vibes of going against fate, but I don't that's just my personal theory for
Yeah,
Rhys.
but just when
But in
everyone's
theory,
like,
you
"Oh,
can always
Reese
be
is
against
Valg,
that.
Reese is Valg," you're like, "So are all of the witches. They're half Valg."
That fits too.
But they're not
They
I
have similar energy to Rhys sometimes.
sure, but they're not evil.
Well, I don't think Valg is evil. I
Yeah.
don't like. I just don't think like all of a race. Although Valg aren't, I don't know if
That
they're
could
really a
also
race,
though play into Reese's as choice. Reese's as choice.
right?
Like
Yes,
that Reese is like, "Yeah, no, my blood
tells me I should be
tells
bad.
me that I should be that," or like that's what my
Yeah,
ancestors were and I made a choice to not be that.
yeah.
That works
But I
too.
think if he is that, he's from another world. Like, he just
But I
shouldn't
also
be
feel
here.
like he is far too similar in looks to Dorian and to Rune. And I
Maybe
mean, but
he
Dorian, I
tolerate a
mean,
Valg body because he's got some Valg lineage.
well, and here's the thing, like, I know that Dorian, right, he does ask Damaris, right, the sword, if he's human, and it warms up, meaning yes, that he's human. But he was conceived while his dad was infiltrated by a Valg
Hmm,
prince.
that's interesting.
And so, like, he's always worrying, like, am I human or am I that? And, he
Mhm.
asked Damaris, am I human? And it says, yes, he is human, but he's not getting a fucking percentage.
I was like, you didn't say how human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
if he
interesting.
does go on to have little flying witch babies, then his children are part Valg.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Also, the Illyrians being created by the Daglin, created how? Created
with
by
Valg.
a with Valg by a union
Mhm.
between Fae and Daglin, just like the
Asteri
witches.
seem too overpowered. They seem insane.
What do?
Asteri.
Yeah, but the Asteri and the Daglin are the same.
No, no, I know. Sorry, I just called
Yeah,
them the
and so
Asteri.
then essentially the Asteri, under the name Daglin, created the Illyrians to help fight the humans, and then they
Yeah,
betrayed them and fought with the Fae, not the humans. So then all Illyrians could possibly be part Isteri
yeah,
Daglin, and by extension, we're assuming Valg.
yeah. That I think that could totally
And then
fit.
that means that Rhys gets his Valg from his mom.
Yeah, although a lot of my theories about Reese stem from the fact that he's always talked about as having the most power. And that just feels like, what is that? There's something
Yeah,
there. This doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. But I'm like, yeah. By the way, in terms to any, if we ever have a listener, um, I don't really have reasons for thinking that I think that Reese is gonna go against fate, except for I know writing vibes, and it seems like the thing that someone would do with a character like that. That's literally
Hmm.
like, there's some things that could point to it, specifically the powerfulness, specifically the way that he just like kind of finagles out of things. But that's yeah, it's kind of just like it seems like the kind of character who is meant for that. And I think it'll
Mhm.
can still be surprising, but it's just I don't know. Maybe it's not because it's too obvious. Anyway, so I just went off the deep end with my the discussion of fate and chance in that in the
No
symbolic
worries.
elements there. Um her logic is so funny too.
I love when she says, right? So she's the pain is in her hands, right? When she keeps going for the levers. And then it's Rhys's face remained a mask of boredom. Sweat slipped down my brow, stinging my eyes. I could only trust him, could only give myself up again, forced to concede by my helplessness.
Hold
I
on.
could,
Where are we?
in the middle of, or kind of top middle of 365, I could only trust him.
She knows. She just like already
Especially
knows
when Alice
inherently.
says, don't trust anybody, even your Tamlin. And then here we go, I could only trust Rhys.
Yeah.
And I get it. She could be like, all I can do is like, it could have been all I can do is trust this that I got nothing, and I'm just gonna lean into it, and not saying it as like a conviction thing, but as a giving up, right? All I could do
Mhm.
is trust that he wasn't gonna fucking kill me. Let's hope, because I picked two, but my hand's stinging, so I'm gonna go with that.
It's my only hope, yeah. I will
Yeah.
also say aren't people watching her? Like did no one see the eye move? Is it so slight that you just can't see it?
What
She looks at
I?
her palm, the
Oh.
tattoo, because it says, the bottom of 364, he sends the pain down her hand when she reaches for 2 for Tamlin, and it says, "I opened my palm to reveal the slitted eye tattoo there, it narrowed. I had to be hallucinating." But, like, I don't know, my brain was like, "Just someone else could see that," and then be like,
I
"She's
mean,
cheating."
or he's making her see that.
Yes, okay. That's fair. That's why I was like, "Okay, that might be it." Also, um I just and again, I this is how my brain works. She sees him through what should be her death. I reached for the third lever, no pain. My fingers met with stone, and I looked up to find the grate not 4 feet from my head. Through it, this grate that's going to kill her. Through it, I found a star-flecked violet gaze.
Mhm.
And I don't know. There's it's just like the symbolism is just right there. You see
Yeah.
that your savior through the death, he's gonna keep you from that death that you should have had. And then yeah, then we get the I could only trust him line.
Yeah.
Um and I was also like the word stone in here was kind of grating at me. Like I was like, what is this? But maybe it doesn't mean anything.
Where?
So, just the throughout, it's like a stone lever. So but
Oh,
she
yeah.
often, it's like the way it says, my fingers met with stone. The stone
Mhm.
lever was cool in my hand. Like I think I was fresh off the like book 5 where like the I could hear your heart beating through the stone line, so I was just like on one about stone, but maybe it doesn't mean anything. And I also think it's funny that when she finally pulls the lever, she says, "I shut my eyes, unable to look at Tamlin." When she chooses Rhys, she can't look at Tamlin.
Mhm.
Mhm. Um.
Well, or she can't because she thinks that she's gonna die. I shut my eyes, unable to look at Tam, and bracing myself for impact and agony, and pulled the third lever, which is direct in opposition to what you just said earlier. That like I reached for the third level, no pain, lever, no pain. My fingers met with stone, and I looked up to find the grate not 4 feet from my head. Through it, I found Rhys, right? And so
Mhm.
like he's the last thing that she's going to see if she's going to die is Rhys,
Mhm.
right? Like she's going to reach for it. And like, yeah, it could be a like, are you this you're telling me to do this, right? So she's like looking up, but as she pulls it, she doesn't look at Tamlin for one final last look at him. She's still looking at Rhys, right?
I think
She meet
so, or maybe she's looking at the spikes, maybe. But yeah, I get the feeling she's still looking at Reese.
I think that she's looking at Rhys until she pulls the lever and shuts her eyes.
Her body knows.
Mhm.
Um,
I had a very get up moment on this next page.
366.
Yeah, where he tells her to
Okay.
stand, right? Where he's helping her. This is very Throne of Glassy for me. This is very Kale telling her to get up and and like, you know, she's constantly told, you don't yield, you will get up, right?
Uh-huh.
And this feels like that moment. It's like
Yeah.
she's in the ring, she's in a trial, she's struggling, and it's Rhys who's reaching out his hand just like Kale was, and is like, and can't touch her, right? But is like, you need to stand. Like,
Mhm.
don't show weakness, don't yield.
Yeah. She is like, I think it's interesting that she's so upset. And I would think it's more just like how that was crazy, how much danger I was just in and like trauma like that. But, if we think about her greatest fear as sort of being like insignificant or like I don't know, I was thinking maybe it goes back to that cuz she feels like like there's nothing
Yeah.
significant about her loss. She just won because she cheated. Like I'm like, why are you okay? That's also why I thought she said like I cheated, and I think it's on the next page or something. She's like,
Mhm.
she won and she didn't even know it. I only won because I cheated, and I again was like, that's more of that backing up for like, oh, because you're gonna cheat death with Reese, because you're gonna cheat what fate is assigned to you. You're gonna, I mean, she already
Mhm.
does that by becoming high fate, to be fair, but
And
yeah,
when
there's
Rhys
something so
dies.
interesting by her being so upset by not winning fairly. And maybe it's just because she just feels so vulnerable as a human. Do you think anything of that? The fact that she's
So
so upset
y-
that she cheated? She doesn't like being dependent, maybe?
yes, I don't know if I have notes for the page before,
Mm.
which again are not very much, but I do feel like it's like important to note, like, he is the one who keeps her together, right? Let him
Mhm.
keep me tethered to sanity as I was escorted back to myself by my guards. Rhysand's words echoed through my mind, holding me together, right?
Mhm.
So like, and then yeah, and then the next part, right? That like,
Oh, yeah.
I wept,
That's
I wept,
360.
yeah, so I wept for hours, for myself, for Tamlin, for the fact that I should be dead and had somehow survived. I cried for everything I'd lost, every injury I'd ever received, every wound, physical or otherwise. I cried for that trivial part of me, once so colorful and light, now hollow and dark and empty. And so she's already said her trivial part is her heart, right? So I cried for that. I cried for my heart, once so full of color and light, now hollow and dark and empty. And I just want to keep that in mind because we get a callback to these same words on the
This
next
line.
page. But this feels unearned for her to be so broken. Now, from a literary standpoint, right? We talk about narrative arcs before, maybe not here, but we have, you and I
Mhm.
have. And like, you need an all hope is lost moment before you get to the climax, before whatever. And so this is an all hope is lost, right? She's like, fuck, I'm
Yeah.
so stupid, and I'm just this tiny little human, and if he hadn't saved me, I wouldn't have survived. And like, I cried for myself and for Tamlin and for the fact that I should be dead, and I cried for everything I'd lost and every injury. And maybe I'm being a dick, okay? But I'm like, what? Like, just thank your lucky fucking stars. Like, be done. Like, who cares if you cheated? Nobody said that you couldn't get help.
I think it could have been sold a little bit better if she just felt like if she was mad, like okay, I do think it's relatable or understandable that this older sister vibe, because that's what she is, she acts like the older sister in the family, right? She's mad that she had to depend on somebody. She's mad that she's doesn't can't do it herself. She's mad that she's so helpless. If she had emphasized those things, or like how terrified she was that she just barely won by the skin of her teeth because some guy she doesn't know just decided to like, whatever. I mean,
Hmm.
personally, if this is me, if I'm Feyre right now, I'm not sad. I'm like, thank God. And then I'm like, what is this fucking guy's angle? I need to talk to him. I need to figure out what his
Yes.
play is and why he's saving me, because clearly he's trying to undermine Amarantha. And what is he trying to do? Is he trying to torture me once
Right?
he gets us out of here? And
You
or is he like a
you
good
have
person?
an
Like I'm
ally.
wild with it.
He just made himself your ally. He has
Yeah.
done something that you can hold
I have
against him,
hope at this point,
and
honestly.
you can so use that against him. Feyre, what are you doing? It would have made more sense if she was, like, crying from anger, right?
Yes, or like
If she
that
was just yeah,
terrified
where
that
she
she was so
yeah,
close
she's like,
or
"This is
something.
stupid. What am I doing here?" Like,
Yes.
and I can see her feeling bad for herself, but in an angry sort of way. She's like, "What am I even doing right now? Like, this guy had to save me because I can't fucking read? Like, what am I?
Yeah.
I'm going up against this chick right now, and I literally am just like, gonna be here for 5 minutes if I do win this because I'm human. Like, and I can understand all of it. But the like despair and crying about it, that's what's frustrating to me. I'm like, get mad.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could see how some of this is meant to be that, I guess, but it just doesn't come across as anger. It comes across as self-pity and,
It
like,
also, and is it in this chapter? It's in the
I think it's just a little more
next.
self-loathing, like, "Why am I so fucking stupid and pathetic?" Like, that kinda thing.
There's a moment where so right on this page, she's like, all I had wanted, all I dared to want was a life that was quiet and easy, nothing more than that, nothing extraordinary. But now, and like, so she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's all I wanted. Like, why couldn't I have just settled for that?" And then, like, the next chapter, she talks about this dream that she had with Tamlin in her future. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know what you want. You just don't.
When does
Because
she
she
talk about
keeps,
the dream with Tamlin?
it's in the next chapter.
Okay.
The future I've dreamed of was just that, a dream. I'd grow old and withered while he remained young for centuries, perhaps a millennia. At best, I'd have decades with him before I died. Decades. That was what I was fighting for. A flash in time for them and a drop in the pool of their eons. And again, I get foreshadowing, I get all his lost moments. But it felt kind of weird for her to, 2 pages before being like, all I wanted was to live a civil life. What? And you're like, well, did you want the simple life or did you want Tamlin? Like, figure out your shit, my friend. And at this point, it's like, cool, then just survive. Like, move on. Like, just you got help the whole time. I don't like maybe not with the first. Well, because
Not with
even
the first
Lucian,
task.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Lucian
Lucian
yells like
helps.
on your left.
But she probably doesn't yeah, I think as somebody who's, like, a perfectionist and doesn't just says anyone, I get the feeling of, like, I get but it didn't read like that kind of sadness. It read like it read kind of weirdly flat, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, even though I might feel the same way, but I think I'd more like be like, "Okay, I saved, now I gotta figure out what this bitch is up to,"
Mm-hmm.
because that to me would seem like a lifeline, like, "Oh, there's somebody who's gonna help me, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make use of this." Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm a scammer. I'm too scheming, and I'm like, "Let's work this angle," but, like, I would see that as a big moment of like, "Oh, hell yeah, not all hope is lost because this
Yeah.
guy is gonna help me, and he's very
Yeah.
powerful, and he can speak into people's fucking minds." Um,
I think part of this despair, at least when we get to the next chapter, could be a bit of the like cracks in the reality of her and Tamlin. That she's like, what am I fighting for?
yes, I do think that.
He's giving her nothing. And this other person is helping her.
Yeah.
And like
Uh,
she's like, my heart, and like maybe that's what the heartbreak is. It's not that she's this useless piece of shit, whatever. And maybe it is partly that, right? But like she's starting to like I think that there's a little bit of a glimmer even here that she's like, this is what did I do? And we get more of that in that line that I read where she's like, it was just that, it was a dream, and like we chalk it up to like the immortality versus mortality, but it's still even that I think that like that's like the first fissure in her conviction and love for Tamlin is like, what is this? What am I fighting for?
yeah. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when, right, I cried that trivial part of me once so full of color and light, and then the very next page we get, right,
Mhm.
the walls weren't moving, the room was open, gaping, no colors but shades of darkness of night. Only those star-flecked violet eyes were bright, full of color and light. And so where
Yeah.
her heart was once full of color and light, his eyes
Are
are
now
that. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't realize how close to I read that and I was like, "That line sounds familiar. I gotta go back and check," and that is literally one page before.
Mhm.
Um,
He's also
but
kneeling again.
yes, I noted that. Before we go there though, did we have anything to think about like the actual moments? Because it's like the one of those the iconic part is Reese being like stand up, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I didn't really have much about like the actual. I noted the word obeyed and keep your chin high. That's very like Reese to like keep her respectable or that kind of thing.
I
Um,
circled good girl because I'm a big ol' slut.
yes. Okay. And but before we jump to like the all the rest of that shit, before the licking, uh, you read the line and you stopped short of where I thought you were gonna keep going.
Where?
On 367,
Mhm.
all I had wanted, all I had dared want, was a life that was quiet, easy. Nothing more than that. Nothing extraordinary. But now, enter Reese. Now what she
Yeah.
wants is Reese, and I just thought
You're
was one of those
right.
moments that's like, the answer's right there. She says, "What I want something," and it's like the way that it's written on the page just looks like, before I didn't want shit, and now what I want is this man, this ripple of darkness. So it was just one of those really classic
Me
lines.
too, babe. Me too.
Um, but yeah, the stones reverberated as he knelt before me. He doesn't just say he knelt before me. And that is like he literally says, I would kneel for no one but my what but my
Well,
crown or something. And I mean, he kneels a lot for her.
also, the ground shakes when she kills the wolf,
Hmm.
right? As this like moment, right? As like
Yeah.
this is fate, right? She shoots it, she kills it, the ground shudders. So the stones reverberating as he kneels before her, that's like
Hmm.
that's big power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just thought it's an interesting line. And then yes, the kneeling. Um, Also, is he like hiding her in the darkness, in his darkness powers so that they can't be seen? Or is he trying to give her the illusion that the cell isn't like a cell and they're just out in the night sky? Because it's kind of what it seems like.
Sorry.
The walls
The
weren't moving and
walls.
the room was open, gaping. The room is not literally open.
His grip was firm as he grasped my wrist and pried my hands from the face. Well, now I don't know.
It seems like he's like just enveloped the two of them in darkness, probably just to keep people from looking in and seeing him
That
being
or
next to
she's
her.
enveloped in his eyes.
Yeah. Maybe he does, maybe it's both. He just doesn't want her to
Yeah.
feel like she's trapped somewhere. Although, I don't love the
Hmm.
description of this looking, primarily because of the way it makes it seem like he's holding her against his will.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe it's like 50s, like grab a woman, kiss her type of romance, but I kind of hate it.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I pulled away, but his hands were like shackles. I could do
Yeah.
nothing as his mouth met my cheek. That it just sounds like an assault. I don't
Yeah.
like it. Why are we doing this? It could be a nice moment. I think the licking is just weird. Like
The licking is
a
weird. He might as well have
kiss.
just bit her.
I mean, I guess he would really like to kiss the tears away, but he doesn't want to like go that far. So then a lick is like a quirky, funny thing. But I just am like,
I mean, I think he's trying to get a rile out of her because he knows that like her being mad at him is better than her being in despair.
yeah.
Right?
But
Like that's what
I
we're supposed to
guess
be getting from this is like,
I just wish the writing didn't make it sound like she's being held down and touched
yeah,
against her will. Like
that's
it
fair.
just because again, I don't think the SJM was like, I'm gonna write in a assault here. I
Yeah,
think she
no.
thinks it's a cute moment, but it's weird because of the way she describes it as I can't move and I couldn't pull
Yeah.
away. Instead of like, he I don't know. I just wish there was a little more like consent vibes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although, because then, yeah, I think like the fact that she kind of likes it, right? My body went taut and loose all at once, and I burned even as chills shuddered along my limbs. Like,
It would have been a much nicer sort of writing if he moved her hands, right?
yes.
And then like
If she had like tried to move and he was like, just, I'm not gonna hurt you. And then she was like, okay. You
That
know?
or, like, she goes to pull away and, like or, like, I don't know, where he, like, grabs instead of grabbing her arms, right, that he's pulling her hands away, he, like, grabs her face, and that for, like, a second, she's staring at his eyes, and she, like, leans into his hold a little bit, and then
Mhm.
he licks her, and then she's like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah, that would've been much better and kind of cuter, honestly, because then it would be
Yeah.
like not like I sat there for 4 minutes while he licked all of my tears away.
Yeah.
Who is doing this for that long? That's gross and it's weird.
Well, I don't think it was that long,
Well, no, I know, but it kinda makes it sound
but yeah.
like he licked several tears, and that's just not the kinda thing that anyone can really tolerate. Kissing
Also,
them away,
he's
maybe,
he's
but lick
licking her face.
yeah,
Like,
it's weird.
that's fucking strange, dude.
Yeah.
No thanks, bro.
It's like, my husband could do that once to me, and I'd be like, but I ain't gonna be like, "Well, there's one over here."
I don't know. That's weird. Topher licks my forehead sometimes because I find it to be fucking disgusting, and he thinks it's
Yeah,
hilarious.
like a little marital prank, okay, is
Yeah, where I'm
one
like, "Ooh,
lick,
give
but
me a
he's
forehead
like
kiss," and then he licks me instead. I'm like, "That's fucking gross, you weirdo." Like, I nowhere am I like, "Ooh, kind of liked it." Oh no, it's
mhm.
gross. Like,
I
no.
I do get the move to lick instead of kiss because the kiss is the natural thing, but obviously that's like turning it up to like way farther than they should be right now. But it's still like I don't know. It should just be one. It should just be one lick of one tear, and then it's like a funny moment between them, and none of this
Or she should
held
have
her
leaned
arms down.
into yeah, she should have leaned into it. He should have kissed a tear away, and then her realize what she was doing and back off. And
Yes.
then her be like, and then him say all the thing, "I figured it would get you to stop crying," and she says it gross, and he says, "Was it? Because that's not what I got," because she did lean into it.
Yeah. So I guess by the end, maybe it is more of like a sexual thing. It doesn't get like the first time I read this, I didn't think of it like that, even though it says and I burned. I just thought she was embarrassed actually. Like her cheeks were turning red because she was like embarrassed, but
Mhm.
I don't know. But I guess she is like into it when he's doing it.
I mean, I underlined that my body went taut and loose all at once and I burned, but that's because the same sort of language is used in the other
Sex.
books
Yeah.
for this sort of rampant horniness.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Um So anyway, I just and like the scene could be cute, and instead it's weird.
yeah.
And
Um
yeah,
I did note the last little paragraph on this page where it says it was bad enough that my life was forfeit to this Fey Lord, but to have a bond where he could now freely read my thoughts and feelings and communicate. Um, do we not think that that's just his skill, or are we saying it's the bond now?
yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't think she understands what a daemati is, so she
Sure,
knows he can do some shit.
but I don't know why she's chalking it up to the bond because he goes into her brain when she's at
Yeah.
Tamlin's Manor. And so what's making her think that like but to have a bond where he could freely read my thoughts and feelings and communicate. You're like, "Well, maybe you're chalking it up to the cuz she keeps looking at the hand. And so she keeps looking at the bargain tattoo. So maybe she thinks that.
Mm,
But I'm like, "What's making you think that the bargain has anything to do with it? He fucking taloned your brain when you were with Tamlin. So what was stopping him from talking to you in your brain then?"
yeah.
And I
Hmm.
think it's supposed to be pushing us to either one think that this bond has this power, right, because we blame a lot of things on the bargain bond and not the mate bond, so then when we get the mate bond we're like whoop whoop, but I think it's also foreshadowing that there's something more here.
Yeah. Definitely. Also, I do think it's funny that he accuses her of being horny. Like,
Hmm.
um, I really should have. I did not read into that at all. I was like, I don't know. It's funny. I feel like it's so obvious that he's like the guy. Um,
Yeah, it's crazy that
second
we
read,
don't see this the first time.
yeah. Um, and then I also think it's funny how he groaned as he stood, a soft, detailed noise that traveled along my bones. And I'm like, girl. Also, how did I notice that the first time? That's more of that.
Also, the only thing I can think of is like because he's an old man, he's just like when
Yeah,
he stands
I
up, it's
can't
like
imagine being cute.
Yeah, it's like when when we're like, "What's crunching under his feet? The grass is fresh. Is that his knees crunching?" And like now Rhys is like groaning when he stands up because he's a fucking old man. He's just like,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. Also, okay, I thought this line was weird. He says, "I'll spare you escort duties tomorrow, but the night after I expect you to be looking your finest." He gave me a grin that suggested my finest wasn't very much at all. Surely he's not really giving her that kind of look. But what look is he giving her that she's interpreting that he thinks she's ugly
No,
or
no.
isn't
I
like very
think
good looking?
that I think she's talking about the clothes not being very much, like covering very much.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like, "Oh, he thinks that my finest is ugly."
Could be that.
And I was like, "Why do you think that?" And but then I was more interested in like, what's the look that he's giving her that would make her think that? Like, is he looking at her with contempt or like, And I was just wondering what he was thinking in the moment.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine him like looking like,
Unless
I
he's
guess
looking
playing
at
into
her
his villain character.
that, or he's looking at her like he wants to bang her because she's like, I had a feeling that that meant I was going to be fucking half naked again.
Yeah, that makes more sense
Yeah.
that way. Yeah. Okay. And then our classic line. It took me a while to realize that Rhys, whether he knew it or not, had effectively kept me from shattering completely. I'll say, I hate lines like that when I'm reading. I fucking hate that. It's like when people write, Yarrow says this too. Uh, you're talking with a friend and they say, "What do you think?" And you're like, "I think it's better." And then end of the quote, and I meant it. Fuck that. Why do people do that? It's like just so telly, and I guess you have to like drive it home, but
Mm-hmm.
like I don't I just why it just feels too pointed. Am I crazy?
No.
Do you like that line?
I don't necessarily like the line. I don't dislike it. I do think that it assumes that the reader is a little bit dumb and you have to tell them that he kept her from
Yeah, maybe
shattering.
that's why I don't like it. Yeah.
But I think it also speaks to
I mean,
if
there does
I'm
need to be some realization on her part that
yeah.
he helped her, but I feel like it could have just been more subtle.
I also think that it could just speak to how she's like that she's not very subtle.
Feyre herself or SJM as
Yeah,
a
that
writer?
like that she's just like, the depth of her at this moment. She's still young and she's still innocent and she's still kind of, naive to the world, and that like this could be a very like her thing to think where she's just like whether he knew it or not, he kept me from shattering. And like I mean, it does seem like a cheesy line. That does feel like
No, I just realized a second meaning for that, which we commonly get shattering
oh,
for orgasming, which also means, she's actually just being like, man, that bitch really kept me from.
yep. Mhm.
He really didn't want to get me off today.
I mean, he admits in a chapter or two that he would love to take her to bed.
Hmm.
So there's that. But yeah, I just wrote next to it. He knew it. Like he knows
Yeah,
what
no,
he's
he
doing. He's
definitely
reading your
does.
fucking mind, you weirdo.
He can smell your horniness, or
Yeah.
maybe not in this series, but whatever.
Well,
Um,
but it says beneath your pride and stubbornness, I could have sworn I detected something that felt different. Interesting. I mean, you said felt, not smelt, but could you imagine? Smelled a little different. Yeah. But
yeah, and
yeah,
for
that's
real, he backs up and is like, "Stinky Feyre."
Jesus Christ, girl, get your pheromones in order here. It's a good
Oh,
thing I can read your mind because now I know that that smell is associated with you thinking of me and not Tamlin. Interesting. Yeah.
um, okay. Wow. Do we get to everything? Yeah.
I think we got to everything. Yeah, I got a lot for that. I know it's a short
Do
chapter, but
you?
I have a lot. Like there's lots.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about the next chapter. So, next chapter is it's basically just the overhearing the conversation and her
Mhm.
feeling real sad and then being sent music.
Yes.
Um Also, I thought the despair in this chapter was a little closer to the music. I thought the music was the answer to her feeling so sad about the second trial. But
Mhm.
instead it seems like she like kind of I was kept from shattering, and then she's like,
Yeah, I
maybe
think
it's a
she's like
darker moment where she's like,
she's in a depression, right? I think that the
yeah,
shadow like the breaking down after the second trial and then like now she's
yeah,
just
post.
now she's just chilling and a depressed place, and she's been there
Okay.
for a minute.
Got it.
But there's some
Okay.
interesting stuff with this overheard conversation. Some very
I thought there was more
interesting.
interesting. My notes for the next chapter are with um the fucking music. I had so many thoughts that
I
I
got I
was
got
surprised.
I got some music thoughts for sure.
Like, um, but yeah,
But I got some serious questions about this
yeah.
conversation that she's overhearing.
Oh, I have less questions about that, so I'm interested to see what you say about that.
Yeah, I got lots of questions.
Um, okay. Well, so next week we're
Okay.
gonna do chapter 41. This is
Yep.
yeah, 41, and yeah, we'll hear that conversation. We'll hear some music.
Okay. Well, Feyre will hear it. We won't hear it. We'll read it.
Yeah,
But
true.
yes.
We'll read about her hearing
Okay.
it. So yeah,
So to the stars who listen, we'll see you next week.
see you next week.